Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's VIN-dow with Robert Hollinshead. Good afternoon, Bob. Nice chatting with you. We got an interesting one today, but I just had a couple questions. I was watching bring the trailer, what cars are bringing on there. There's a nice Rolls Royce Spectre that brought big bucks. Um, it was posed to me though. What is Bob Hollinshead's favorite car in the world?
So, Shawnee, for sure you say that in jest because there is nobody that I talk to when we're sitting on a second glass of wine, whether in the car business, not in the car business. Everybody has to say, what kind of car do you, what's your favorite car, Bob? And my knee-jerk reaction happens to be true. It's a Corolla. It happens to be a Corolla for a bunch of reasons. One, when you buy it, you can't break it. Two, when you want to sell it, you never lose. Three, while you own it, it's impossible to break down. It's the greatest car that's ever been built. Doesn't go down in value. It's the most reliable car in the history of the world. And when you get rid of it, you're never pissed. You're never out of equity if you were to finance it. However, your point with the Spectre, right? I just bought another roller because I happen to personally, I like rollers. I'm a fat old person that likes quiet, smooth, and like things, right? So I just bought another new one at the end of the year for the tax thing. And I almost bought a Spectre, but I can't do it because I'm never, ever in my lifetime ever going to drive an electric car because I really, truly do have range anxiety. You dig what I'm saying? In other words, when I get in something I bought that's electric and you're looking at the thing and you're watching the gauge go down as fast as you can't even believe it. I just went to get a loaf of bread. I came back there. It's 2 miles away and then my range went down 58 miles. I ain't getting in that car. But there was one of Manhattan Motor Cars. I was just getting ready to buy that car. I bought a call instead, but I was just getting ready to buy it December the 31st. And I'm saying, this car is going to crash like all these other Equises and, e-trons and so forth. I ain't going to do it, right? And it was a good deal and all the rest, but I ain't doing it, right? So when I'm looking at this thing, and stickers $5.90 or $5 something, $8 something, who knows what, a lot, and it's on the thing, and it's 400G with no miles. And I'm saying, now with 10 miles or 102 or 300 miles, or it's 2 months from now, that's going to be the world's greatest depreciation. It'll depreciate 300,000 in a couple of months after you turn it into a used car, right? Which, unfortunately, what this really means is, Shawnee, because they're making all Rollses into electric things, I ain't going to be able to drive Rolls no more because I am not put myself in that position. It's not happening, man. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's unfortunately true. So,
well, speaking of where things are,
I'll have to go back to a Corolla, Shawnee. I'm going back to Corollas. I'm buying a fleet of Toyotas, Corollas.
Well, apparently there's nothing wrong with that. So, but speaking about where things are going, there was one more you brought up to me, and I was kind of taken aback. And just bear with us, everybody, because we will spin it back to the car business. But you were mentioning this mother that was convicted stateside. Anyways, dive into the details, and it's super interesting, and it's kind of scary where things are going.
Yeah, so in other words, it was on TV. Everybody saw it. It was like a O.J. Simpson trial where every word was followed and every snot bubble was taken, like in slow motion and all the rest of it, right? And when you stop and think about it, probably not a good parent, but more or less, if you look around your neighborhood, pretty much the same as any other parent. When you're thinking about it, they're in Michigan. In Michigan, when you're 12, everybody gets their first shotgun. It's just normal. They live in the hinterland where you got to go shoot pheasants and deers and so forth. So it's not like that was anything weird. The kid's 16. The father gives him a gun. You understand? They go fishing. They go hunting. That's what happens. Now, it's odd if you live in New York City or if you're in Washington, D.C., and you don't understand how people go out and if you're in Manheim, Pennsylvania, and you want to get body work done during hunting season, I wish you all the luck in the world because everybody's going hunting. So it's not that weird that this kid got a gun. And I'm not saying these are great parents. I'm not saying they weren't responsible, but it's a slippery slope because immediately in my little pea brain, I start thinking in a little different sense of this. So go on Google the thing. Because I remember as a kid growing up dirt poor, there was rich kids in school and 16 years old, the kid gets a brand new 63 split window Corvette, right? It's a really nice car, right? It's the bright blue, beautiful car. But that weekend goes into the father's liquor cabinet, gets drunk, and goes out and kills 4 people in an accident, drunk driving in the Corvette. Now, let me ask you a question. If this lady got convicted of murder because the kid, they didn't take him to see the counselor or something, are you responsible when you get your kid a car and he goes out and are you going to go to jail? The truth of the matter is the kid didn't go to jail. And the parents, of course, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world that you think, because they gave this kid a car. It's called affluenza. In other words, the disease he's suffering from is growing up affluent and being privileged. He gets a new car, goes out and kills people, gets counseling or whatever, and doesn't go to jail. And the parents don't go to jail. How in the world would these people go to jail because of this? Now, the only reason I'm bringing this topic up on this forum is if that precedent is set that you're responsible because your kid goes and farts. Just look around on the news every single day. Does that mean parents whose kids go in and smash the Walmart and steal things in there and then go do something with whatever they stole, or they go into Rite Aid and smash it and steal everything? When that kid gets caught, is that also the parents' fault? Are the parents going to jail also? Because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. You understand? In other words, this parent can't be responsible. Not the best parent in the world. I swear to God, I agree with that 100%. I feel terrible for everybody that happened. But now when you transfer that precedent and law to everything else that a kid does, right? And then it gets even worse. What about with a car? A car has what is it? A CRV has a no sale because
right now, yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, the Honda dealer, oh no, we can't sell those cars. Good, take it to the auction, sell it. What happens next? Guy buys it and sells it. You dig? Now he sells it, and because the recall didn't know, didn't tell, and maybe even did tell, but didn't sign the paper correctly, the dealer is definitely, and don't forget, somebody got killed in that accident. Airbag went off, unexpectedly. They ran into the other car, killed 2 more people. If this lady's guilty for whatever their son did, she wasn't there. She didn't encourage him to do it. She just didn't take him to counseling. And she's going to prison for 20 years. You follow me? How would that relate to what we do for a living? Last week I sold 60 Lexuses with some sort of a, who knows what, of a passenger side recall for something, a fart in the trunk or the glove box or something, right? And, everybody knows about it. But if that turned out to be a safety issue, that turned out to be an accident, that turned out to be, if this lady's guilty, everybody that listens to us is also potentially, in my estimation, obviously, I'm just a dumb hustling car dealer. I am not a legal expert, but I do pay attention to things. If that precedent is set, what does it mean for us as car dealers of having extended responsibility for not disclosing something that somehow or other could never happen, but it does happen? And now that we have this thing that you're responsible for something else that you really didn't even know you were responsible for, what's the ramifications of that? Does that make any sense, Sean, or is it just rambling bullshit?
Well, I think even if you are disclosing it too, like, where does the responsibilities end? Like, and that's,
in other words, do we burn the car because somebody said that the airbag went off of 1 out of a million cars, and you didn't tell the customer, and it happened to you, and they hit something else, and to me, this is a windfall for the legal profession. Because the application of what happened to this lady and what's going to happen to her husband, based on whatever the kid who was mad because he flunked the algebra or something, right? In other words, the legal precedent that sets, to me, is very broad and weird. It's I don't know. I could be wrong about it, but it's got me thinking.
what about wasn't there like a $13 or $26 part on the old Ford Pintos that was causing those rear end crashes? And
Well, that was it's funny you say that because my first job in the car business in 1972 was sitting on Broad Street selling Volkswagens at Broad and Belfield, and I watched one get tapped in the ass at Broad and Belfield, and the thing exploded. I still see it in my eyeballs, and that's because the gas cap was just above the little flimsy ass bumper, and it actually was a Vega that tapped them in the ass and blew the car up. So I don't know what the $10 part it was, but it was a bad design on Ford's part to put the gas cap exactly in the middle of the trunk area of the hatchback. You follow me? That was like a bomb waiting to happen. You know.
Anyways, that's aside. Slippery slope, anyways, Bob, and I think we just got to keep our eyes on it. And
yeah,
I don't think it's going back. That's the challenge.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's probably off topic, and I'm sorry if I bored people, but it's something to think about because to me, it's like it's just one more step into this abyss of insanity that our society's digging into, man. You know.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, everybody. Have fun.